hey everybody, thanks for joining me out in the woods today. I've got an exciting double review here of two of these sweet mini accipiters that I've made, and I'm excited to show them to you today. So my plan is we show you a bit of these, we do some bushcraft with them, maybe get a little fireboard, a little firebow drill made with them, and then we can zoom in later on towards the end of the video for a more in-depth review. But just want to look at them. Here they are. Not fully polished yet because I'm going to be abusing them a bit today. But look at that nice recurve. Also, spoiler alert, look at that taper. Thin, thick, 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 thin, 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 thin. So these things are 4.8 ounces, both of them. I forged these both at the same time, so they're very similar. Curly maple handle and a burnt oak handle. So that's both of them. Again, we'll do a tabletop towards the end, but let's get into doing some bushcraft with these guys and see how they function, because they function great as everyday knives, but also as bushcraft knives. All right, let's start with our hook. First, we're gonna trim this nice and neat. We're just gonna take that off there, and then we're gonna see where our hook's gonna be. We'll put that above here, and then just get that off there. Now I've got the hook. I want a thicker end for my notches, thinner end for where I'm hanging it. So this here, and now we're ready to make a hook from this. And we use our baton again. We make a little X. Don't want to go in too far. And a little X. Okay, this is where the sharpness of the knife comes in handy, because now we're just going to carve up to that X, and you can see how the knife's biting in nice and deep there, crunching through those wood fibers, cleaning that up there, and the other one, cleaning that up. And that's going to give us a little point upon which this whole hook will hang. So, gotta tidy it a bit. There it is now. Just there. All right, so now you got a nice little notch there it's gonna hang from. Now it's, again, very helpful to have a sharp knife there, or else it's not gonna bite nicely into these fibers and do this good, clean work. Let's keep going then. Now to make our point to go on the ground, watch this closely. Start by doing an extreme cut towards the end here, something steeper, establishing that point. And I'm just rotating, starting at the heel of the blade, letting that recurve do a lot of the work. And I'm just eating away at that. So you can hear it, you can see it, that's nice deep bites. And right about here, I'm good to leave it like that. Not so sharp that that point bends over. Now I taper higher up to that point, and that is what's gonna make a really nice stake to go into the ground. So again, I'm doing this on camera so you're gonna see how it's just eating through the wood here. Some knots there. Okay, now what we have is a great tapered point. You ever had a stake that doesn't quite go into the ground? It's probably because the taper was a little off on that stake. It's a lot like not grinding a knife. Now this, because it's tapered all the way down and tapered at the end, this will go deep into the ground, give us a sturdy thing to hang our hook from. So I want a nice flat surface here. What I'm gonna do then is start batoning right here. Bounce that out. And now I'm just going to make a flat surface here. So actually I'm gonna use a little chopping. It's good to have a knife that can do a little chopping. You see I'm just eating away. Make sure you get that. You can see that knife is biting in nice and deep, even if it's lightweight here. And as you notice, I'm making planing a completely flat surface. And actually, I'm good to go right there. Okay, the rest of it I'll clean up like this. Little camera here. Now notice how much I'm using that recurve. Okay, a couple things. This grip, look how tight and close I am to the edge with that grip. That gives you lots of leverage. No choil or guard to mess you up there. Working with that recurve, and it's biting nice and deep. And now I've got the flat plane I needed. Look at that, look at that, it's like a chainsaw. Now I've got the flat plane I needed to hang my hook from. So I'm gonna do one last cleanup cut. Watch, this will be really satisfying. Ah, nice. One last cleanup cut, and now we're good to go. All right, we got a simple little pot hanger set up right here. That's gonna be easy to set up and take down, easy to get the pot off when it's boiling water. So now, let's go get a little wood and process it to make a small fire here. All right, so listen here. Hard pieces of wood, right? Now when you baton, you need something to stop your wood from just sinking into the ground. So I'm actually just gonna put it on top of a little rock here. Gotta be careful you don't hit your edge on that rock. There's a way to do that, I'll show you. So here's a little knife. Notice the fine tip. You might think, uh-oh, I wouldn't baton that little tip. Well, just watch here. Now we got plenty of knots all throughout this. But let's just start and see if our grain is fairly straight. All right, now that we're at the end, let's just do one of these. Break in half. So we're processing some really good wood here. Now, again, we don't need this for our fire today, but if you're camping, this would be great wood for you. Keep that tip pointed up and your knife won't go into the ground. And then just stop right before the end there. Good. Don't do that, obviously. I could hit you in the face. Here you go again. Big old knot in there. Let's go through this guy. And there you have it. So, really hard wood, lots of knots. Tip, of course, is just fine. There's no issues there. And guys, let me remind you, this is not a big Rambo knife. This weighs less than your iPhone. Your iPhone probably weighs 6 ounces. I know the XRs, or 10s, whatever they're called, they weigh 8 ounces. This weighs probably less than your pocket knife. 4.8 ounces, and you can do stuff like this with it. I mean, you could actually be transported into the middle of the woods, and you're gonna be totally fine with this little mini Mars Fire Accipiter. This isn't really even pushing the limits of what it can do. Let's get back to making our fire. Now, you really don't have to rush. This is gonna last for a long, long time. You can hear it's nice and healthy. You just blow it into a flame, and then we're gonna put our fuel on top of it. There she goes. Hot water right here. Hang right on. Nice. Not quite in the flames, just move the fire. There you go. Give it a few minutes. This will be boiling, and I'll have myself a nice little drink. Well, it's been just about 2 minutes or so, and our kettle's singing, so take it. Oh, comes out boiling. Pour what I'd like. Well, now that you've seen the performance, we're going to talk about these knives in a little bit more detail. So these two are forged together, and you can see they're certainly brothers and twins, but not quite identical, as really nothing hand forged is going to be exactly identical. But for this, we're just going to treat them like they're the same. So what do we have going on there? Well, if you check it out this way, one of the first things you're going to notice is this taper, nice and thin in the end here, going to thick in the edge, the spine, and then thin again at the tip. And of course that helps with the movement and the balance of the knife. Balance is right in the middle there, but it also is going to make the tip here cut really, really well, because again, it's not a big wide spine pressing through something. It's a nice thin tip that'll slice through. And you saw an example of that when I cut through the bark on the tree. I also have both of them, this false edge here, and that could be sharpened. A lot of that is just for look, because it looks sweet, but also it really helps with piercing as well. It gives less resistance back there for piercing. And if these were to be used or worn in a combative function, that would be very handy. At least technically that'd be something you want. And that's what I meant when I talked earlier. These knives are really versatile. Bushcraft is just one of the things, but it could just as easily move into the realm of a combat knife. So we got our spine here, pretty thick, nice and durable. You can baton and do all sorts with that. And then let's look at that edge profile. What's so good about that curve right there was a lot of the cutting you saw me doing was utilizing the advantages of that curve, because as you move material down, it's kind of pressing into there, and you kind of have to feel it to understand it. It's just really good. Very comfortable. And then of course any cordage or fibrous materials you have, you wrap them around and you can pull through, and that works wonders for that sort of thing. Also, I like this curve because it goes down slightly, and when you're cutting up food and vegetables like this on a cutting board, the blade goes down to meet the food. You're not hitting your knuckles on the cutting board like you would with something a little bit of a flatter blade. So I really enjoy it for that reason as well. And then of course we've got our point pretty much centered with our handle, which helps with the piercing, penetration. And again, if you're thinking combative aspect, that would be an advantage to you. You can see a hamon on this one right there, the differential temper line. That just adds some really cool visual interest, and also it shows you how your edge is soft and your spine is hard. And that's going to make this thing extremely durable. That's going to make it so there's really no shock or bending that's going to snap this blade, because this is ductile and soft, even while the edge is hard, and that goes for both of them. You can see it a little bit less on this one because of the work we've just done with it. Handle-wise, they're a little bit different. You can see this one's a barrel type handle, picture like a whiskey barrel, and this one's more hourglass. And of course this one is curly maple, and this one is a burnt oak. And so they have a different feel to them. Both comfortable, but I prefer this one a bit. And these handles are 4 inches, the blades are 4 inches, making this whole thing a very small package. And again, very light. These are from 1095 high carbon steel, and they are tempered to such a degree that they can both baton through an iron nail, a thick one too, and doesn't turn or mess up the edge. So these are extremely durable, extremely functional knives, and as you just saw, a good example of them working out in the wild. Let me show you these sheaths here. This one's been beeswaxed, and so you'll get that snap that stays in there. This goes sideways, and as you saw in the video, it's just when you're squatting or standing or moving, it's just totally out of the way. You don't feel it, and it's there when you need it, and when you don't need it, it feels like it disappears. Put your belt through there. You can do that scout carry or however you'd like. And this is that waxed 8-ounce leather. Look at that. Same thing here, only I haven't waxed it yet, so it won't snap in quite yet. This one's got some kind of cool highlights here. Same design, hands done, hand stitched, mounts the same way. And what we can also do is put slits here and here so you can actually put your belt through there, which I'll end up doing as well. And so this will mount on your belt vertically as well as horizontally. Again, just look at that tang. I love that taper. And that looks cool. So, there they are. Both these mini accipiters here. Well guys, I appreciate you watching today. And hope you enjoyed the demonstration of these knives. I think it's good that you see how they can function out in the woods. It gives a lot of cognitive foundation for the things that I say in the review. You can say, oh, I saw it cut through the bark, I saw it slicing through the wood, I saw it batoning, things of that nature. So I'm happy I could demonstrate that for you today. Here's one last look at them. And before I go, if you wanted to like, comment, subscribe, message me, anything like that, I'd really appreciate engagement with the channel. I'd happy to take your comments or questions underneath. And also, if you want one of these or something similar, let me know in the comments and we can work out what that's gonna look like. So these are going for $3 or $3.25 a piece right now. Not quite sure yet, but there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.